Hot, dry and powerless. That sums up Tuesday for many Gauteng residents, battling not just power cuts but a heat wave as well. I'm joined now by spokesperson for Johannesburg Water Puleng Mopeli. Puleng Mopeli, thank you so much for your time. I wonder if you could just update us on the situation in Johannesburg. Can you tell us how many residents are being affected by this water situation?
Thank you, Sally, and thank you and good evening to your viewers. At the moment, we have a larger part of Johannesburg. This includes our Soweto meters, so the better part of the Soweto areas, your Roodepoort areas, as well as the south of Johannesburg, which includes your Glen Vista, Kibler Park, Crown Gardens, as well as your Linksfield areas and Basonia. So those are the areas that are affected currently by level 2 water restrictions. And earlier on, we also had to isolate some of our towers, including the Linden Tower, the Florida North Tower, because we were battling to build capacity. So the only way that we could do that is to isolate them and just for them to build capacity and able to give the residents a proper supply.
What is the root cause of the problem? Because we know that our dams are, Vaal Dam, for example, is over 95% full. So we've got a lot of water in our dams. Why is it not getting to the reservoirs quickly enough?
That's correct, Sally. The Vaal Dam is at a very satisfactory level. However, with the recent load shedding that has hit our power supplier, Rand Water, and the repetitive power trips at their Zekerbosch was the pump station, that's why we find ourselves in a situation. So it's not about the levels being up; it's about their infrastructure being impacted. That's impacting. Let me just say the metro's infrastructure, because this is not only the city of Johannesburg that's impacted, also Ekurhuleni as well as the city of Tshwane.
Yeah, that's right. It is across the 3 metros. But aren't the pump stations excluded from load shedding?
Some are exempted. And I think with them is when they are recovering, then they get to experience the power trips. And I think that's what is causing the delays in terms of pumping back into the metros. I think that's the challenge that they're experiencing currently at the moment. And now due to the increased water demand from residents, it even strains their networks.
We've been told that there's a host of problems. So would you say that the load shedding is really the biggest problem, or is it the residents just using too much water? Because a lot of residents are saying that is nonsense.
I think a bit of both. We all have a role to play in this. We understand that it's in the summer and spring seasons, therefore people will be using water excessively than they would in the winter season. So due to that, it also impacts it contributes on the water levels.
All right. So you've explained that load shedding does have a role to play. And of course, this evening we've heard we're back in stage 4. We know that from stage 4 onwards, it gets really, really difficult to keep systems like water pumps running properly, because while a pump may be excluded from load shedding, it does have a knock-on effect, as you've explained. So how concerned are you about stage 4 load shedding and the impact it might have on your ability to provide water to Johannesburg?
Quite honestly, Sally, stage 4 is not as ripe as stage 6, because remember we released a statement a few weeks ago about stage 6 impacting on the network. So stage 4 is not that bad. I think the main concern now is that people need to work with us in terms of reducing consumption.
But sorry to interrupt, I just want to ask you something. Stage 6 we last had over 2 weeks ago. So you telling me that load shedding has had a real impact then doesn't
hold water, if you pardon the pun.
Yes, load shedding has had an impact on the water supply. And including now the high water consumption from the residents. Hence, we are saying we have implemented level 2. We've been on level 1 water restrictions from the 1st of September because that's where residents start using water excessively. And now we have moved to level 2 as advised by Rand Water yesterday.
All right, thank you very much. Puleng Mopeli, spokesperson for Johannesburg Water, just reminding us we're on stage 2 water restrictions here in Johannesburg. Also, Swane, I understand, which means you simply can't use a hose pipe. You can't use an irrigation system. You cannot fill up your pool. And of course, you're asked to use water sparingly.